Why we go into debt buying things we don't need, as posted to Forbes.com, written by Vanessa McGrady. I was a freshman in the New York University bookstore, browsing what I'd need for the first semester. And American Express had set up a table with some friendly folks who were determined to get customers. There was a new card, Optima they called it, and on the application, I could check off how much credit I wanted. $2,000? $5,000? $10,000? $10,000 sounded good, so I took it. I was amazed that a credit card company would give that much to a college student, a credit card virgin at that, but they did. I was set financially in my 20s, thanks to wads of cash from excellent waitressing and bartending gigs, plus a well-paid internship and criminally low rent, even for Manhattan's Upper West Side. Then, I followed my handsome, funny Ivy League boyfriend to a scrubby little town in New Mexico where he'd gotten a job, where I happily paid $800 for a 1986 Ford F-150 dual gas tank truck that cost $50 to fill, and I landed my first real journalism job, earning about $4.50 an hour. My cash quickly disappeared, and I started living on that Optima card, and maybe another card or two as I came closer and closer to maxing out my $10,000 limit. I would wander through the town's one major store, a Walmart, and pick up things for our home that we didn't need. I'd buy t-shirts for myself and gifts for my boyfriend. As a vegetarian, I'd be distressed with the lack of fresh produce in the supermarkets and go out to eat, a lot, all while racking up debt. I had no concept of credit, of how much it was costing me and how hard it would be to make it back. I just knew that I was in love and that the extra trip to the giant truck stop for cowboy boots might carry me through the loneliness and despair of an increasingly complicated relationship that wouldn't last much longer. It took me several years, a humiliating loan from my dad, and one bankruptcy to learn how to use credit cards and live within my means. Experts agree that cards should be used exclusively for real emergencies that can't be handled by your 6-month or 2-year, depending on whom you ask, emergency fund. And no, Tony Lama cowboy boots on sale do not constitute an emergency. Or to earn airline miles or cash or other incentives while paying off the full balance each month. A researcher at the University of Missouri put her finger on the differences between the type of person who abuses credit and the rest of the world. There's nothing wrong with wanting to buy products, said Marcia Richens about her 2011 study. It becomes a problem when people expect unreasonable degrees of change in their lives from their purchases. Some people tend to ascribe almost magical properties to goods, that buying things will make them happier, cause them to have more fun, improve their relationships, in short, transform their lives. Those beliefs are fallacious for the most part, but nonetheless can be powerful motivators for people to spend. Richens and her co-author, Lang Nguyen Chaplin, say in a more recent study that it all begins in childhood, when we're trained by our parents to become materialistic, even if they mean well. The things we give our children generally have practical purposes. A coat to stay warm, a computer for homework. At other times, purchases are made simply because the parent loves the child and wants to buy something that brings the child joy. In fact, the crowded closets and overflowing toy bins in most middle-class homes may be considered a testament of how much parents love their children. People also use material things to shape their children's behaviors. For example, parents may take things away as a discipline for disobedience or a consequence for neglect of responsibilities, or they may buy a desired toy to reward a child's accomplishments or good behavior, such as successful toilet training, doing chores, or achieving a target GPA. So maybe it's your parents' fault that you're buying things you don't need, but ultimately it will be your responsibility to change if you want it to stop. Susie Orman has a neat little debt eliminator tool on her website. It asks you to enter all of your credit card debt, what the maximum payments and interest rates are, and if there's any extra you can pay per month. And then, presto, the tool calculates the smartest way to pay down the cards. The gist? Cut up your cards. Pay down the one with the highest interest first, while maintaining minimum payments on the others. If you have trouble making payments on time, set up automatic payments through your bank, so at least the minimum amount is covered on time and you won't get socked with late fees and even more interest. Make a plan to get out of debt. Perhaps take Forbes contributor Laura Shin's advice about a side hustle to boost your payments. Stop hanging out in places you're tempted to overspend and with people who are insensitive to your situation. When you're buying something you don't need, and we all do this to some extent, Try to figure out the underlying feelings about why you want it. Are you lonely, sad, hungry, anxious, tired, procrastinating? Could you hold off making that purchase for 24 hours and come back the next day if you still want it? Spending money you don't have will not make life more fun. It won't make you prettier or more desirable. It won't open up a great new world. You will not have better friends, and your kids won't like you more. All it will do is create a little black hole inside you that grows bigger and blacker until you get a handle on whatever the real issue is. You might have to bottom out first, but know there are resources out there if you need them.